What's up, guys? Welcome to the show. Today's episode, we're going to be showing you how to install an interior door. Common problem in rental property, especially ones that have been turned into a trap house like ours have. We often have to replace interior doors. Now, this is just your standard 6-panel split frame interior door. We're going to show you how this works. Tools you're going to need a hammer. We got a soft hammer and then a finish hammer. We got a flat bar in case we need to adjust the door up or down, and then a straight edge and a level. We're also going to need an air compressor and some kind of finish nailer. And I know you're wondering what the chop saw is for. We're installing a door, right? Well, we've already measured this door, and there's been so many layers of floor built up on this property here, and the property owner don't want to pay to have it removed. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to trim the bottom of this door to make it fit this opening, because the opening is smaller than the door size by about 1/2 inch. And we'll show you here in a minute how the door manufacturers usually leave you a little play for this, because this is a common problem. And we're going to show you how to fix it here on this show. So stay tuned. Welcome back. Now that we've got everything we need, the first step prior to purchasing the door, we've already measured ours. But prior to purchasing the door, you need to measure your opening and size the door. And in our case, we got about a 26 3/4 inch by 81 3/4 inch rough opening. Now this door, the 26 inches means we need a 24-inch door. You have to account for the size of the frame, which is usually 3/4 to 1 inch thickness, depending on the door. Ours has a 3/4 inch thickness, but you always want to check the door manufacturer's recommendations for sizing the rough opening. Now, in our case, this door is going to be okay as far as the width is concerned. What we got now is a couple of height issues. Now, the most common problem, and our problem here, is that the floor's been built up so much that we've lost space at the bottom. So we're going to have to do a little hack or a little fix to the door to make it fit our rough opening. Now the hack for this is to cut the bottom of the door off. This is a common problem, and door manufacturers have accounted for this problem. As you can see at the bottom here, we got about a 1 inch room of play. Now all we need is a 1/2 inch to get this door this open properly. But we're going to show you how to cut the bottom of this door. We're going to show you the hack for fixing a door that's just a little bit too big for an open because the floor's been built up. Next step is we're going to pull the split frame apart. Now it's very simple. If you look right here, this is how a split frame door goes together. It just comes apart just like this. You just take this back part off. And sometimes it gets a little stuck up in there, but it's usually pretty easy to get out. And you gotta watch this molding, it's usually pretty flimsy. And we'll put that right back in there. And if you'll look, you'll see the grooves right here where that piece will slide in there when we install it in the rough opening. But whether you gotta cut the bottom of your door frame or not, the next step is getting the door prepared for the opening. Now the manufacturer installs a couple clips to keep the door square and secure when transporting from supplier to distribution center. Now, they install these things in the locks, and if you don't know about them and you get your door in, then you'll have to take it back out because it's kind of hard to get out without having exposure to the frame. Now it's real easy to get off. this thing right here, it's just a screw piece. Reach your finger in the hole, hold the other side, and you just want to turn this thing off. Just like this. See how that is? And then you just pop this screw out. And then your door free swings and swing now. Now you see this side's kind of flimsy too. So what we'll do now is we'll go to the next step, and for us, since we got to cut the door opening, what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to take the door out of the frame so that we can set this up on our saw so that we can cut the bottom of the door frame. So let's get our hammer and a nail and pop the pins out of these hinges, and then we'll get it over there to our saw, and we'll show you the hack for how to make a door that's just a little bit bigger than the opening, fit a smaller opening. So stay tuned. Now, to get the pin out of the hinges, you can take a nail set, a nail, or just any old screw that's smaller than the hole, stick it up in there, and take your hammer and just cut that thing out, just like this. Gotta watch it. Should have got a longer nail, but didn't have a nail set today, so you see, you get it right there, and then you can just knock this thing out as far as you need it to get it out. We'll do the same for all three. They pop out. They're usually pretty easy to pull out, so it's not real hard. Now let's make sure you keep your pins safe. I just pull the door out, and usually what I do is I put them in the door because I'm not going to be cutting the door just yet. Hopefully we won't have to, but we'll show you that hack too. And then we'll just set the door over here to the side, and then we'll get to the next step. Now that we got our door off the frame, you can see it's nothing but just two pieces of trim wood, a door jamb and a piece of window and door molding. Now, we could take this apart and cut each piece separately, but in our case, we got a chop saw as we showed you earlier in the video, and we're going to show you how to get this thing up on the chop saw safely and just make a little cut to give us a little more room for the door to fit in the opening. And we may need to cut the bottom of the door, and you can use the same setup to keep the door up so that you can use your circular saw or your chop saw to cut the bottom of the door. But let's take this over there to the saw table, and we'll get to the next step. Now that we showed you how to disassemble the door, get it ready to put up on the cutting saw, here's how we set ours up. We just come out here right on the floor. We put our trim piece up here against the straight edge so that we can get a straight cut. We got our other side supported about the same height as our cutting deck, and then we got our little leg over here supported. Now we've already measured our opening. Now this is the hack that you've been waiting for. Our door opening is about 81 3/8, and this door frame is 81 3/4. So let's just make some mark at 81 3/8 on both sides, and we'll go ahead and make this cut, and then this will make the door frame fit the opening. Then we'll move our frame to the other side, And remember to bring your block with you. Now we know it's going to be about right there. So let's just slide it out. Move it right over here. Block back in place. Slide it up. And then you want to do it on the other side as well. And we'll go ahead and cut the other side, and we'll get to installing the door into the rough opening. Now, since we've got the bottom of the jambs cut to the size of our door opening, plus a little bit of plate, we're going to stick the door frame back into the frame, so that we can see if the door is longer than the frame, or if the frame is still sitting on the ground like it should be. Now, if the door is standing on the door, we're going to go ahead and give it a little trim while we got it out. But the door is also easier to install if it's in the frame. Everything can be squared up easier. You can kind of keep the door in there and use the door to help move it which way you got to do it to adjust it. But let's go ahead and stick this thing back in here. I've already got the pins, and easiest way, these doors aren't heavy at all. Just lean it over, get your hinges in there, and then just stick one of your pins in, and then work your way in. And then I'll leave it a little bit out, and usually just work my way down. Just get it to hold the door. You don't have to drive them in yet. This one may just slide in there easily like that. And let's see, now we'll just stand it up. And see that right there? That means we're standing on the door. So looks like we're gonna have to take off maybe a half an inch off the door to make that thing fit. And one note, there's not much that you can take off the bottom of the door. Maybe 1 inch. So we're gonna start with the half an inch and see if that works, and then we'll go from there. If we have to, we'll just have to cut the bottom of the door and put the block back in, and we'll show you how to do that, but let's hope we don't have to do that. So let's move on to the next step. Let's cut the bottom of the door by half an inch. Okay, now we got a little bonus hack. I'm going to show you how to cut the bottom of a door using a level as a straight edge and cutting guide for a circular saw. Now the tools you'll need to cut the bottom of this door straight using our method, if you got a, they do make cutting guides, but we don't have one with us. That's why we're doing this special little hack here. And you know, we'll just use the level. We only got one clamp too, so we got another bonus hack in this video. We're going to use a block over there to be the other edge to keep the level straight and sturdy while we run the saw along the bottom of the door and get a straight cut. Now, we got everything we need, so let's go ahead and get started. Now the first thing you're going to need is a couple of blocks to put your door up on, just like we did. Next, you're going to need a circular saw. Always make sure your saw is unplugged from power when you're doing this. But the first thing you're going to want to do is set the blade of your saw. Now I do this before anything else because I don't want to cut anything below it. And I want to go ahead and remember that. And also, I need this motor raised up just a little bit to make it over my cutting guide today, which is going to be a level. And you just want the blade sticking out the bottom of the door just a little bit. Now that we got that set, we'll put that to the side. Next, we're going to measure and make our marks on the door to what we need for our hole. So we're going to take about a 1/2 inch off the bottom. So we're going to make a mark on each side. And now we want to take our saw. We're going to set it up here on the door like this. Now, you can't see this in the video, but now that we're on our mark, we're going to come over here to the other side of the guide blade, and we're going to put a mark. Now, we're going to take our ruler, and we're going to measure to this mark. This mark's 6 inches. So we're going to take this one to 6 inches. To the same exact spot. Now, this mark is going to put our blade on this mark, where we want it. Now, let's move our door back a little bit. We cut our block specifically shorter than the cutting guide because we're going to need to go over top of it with the motor. I got that side set. Now this side we're going to take our Erlen quick clamp. We'll put a link to these clamps, and maybe you can have 2 of them at one time. And don't do like us and clamp your cord. But I'm just going to clamp them down on this side. Now, pushing the blade along and in towards the level will keep it up against that block, which will give us a straight cut. Let's go ahead and cut the door. We need power. Now that we got power, let's cut the door. And that's all there is to using a level as a straight edge for a cutting guide on the job to cut the bottom of a door. Look here, it's a pretty good straight cut. Given the little bit amount of tools we have here, didn't have a table saw, didn't have a straight edge, so we just made do with what we had. So hope this helps somebody, and we'll put links to some of these tools in the description, and be sure to subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching. Welcome back from the bonus hack of cutting the bottom of the door using the level for a straight edge and a circular saw. And we got us a nice straight cut on the bottom of the door. Now we've done a little prep work. We put the door back into the frame. We set the other half of the frame inside the room of the door that we're using. We grabbed a couple tools. We grabbed our finish nailer. Our compressor has run, it's pumped up with air, soft screen. We got our soft hammer, and we got us a little flat bar in case we got to move this door up or down in the hole. Now, it's time for the moment of truth. Will the door fit now that we've done our hacks and cut the bottom of the door? Let's find out. Now, you might have to grab here and hold this up with your hand. These doors are really light, and then I just like to get my top started, and then just kind of work the bottom in. And it looks like we got plenty of room. Oh yeah. That's pretty. That's pretty right there, guys. Okay, now, you want to take your level. We're going to do it over here. And you want to just check for level and plumb here. On all three sides. Now it looks like it needs to go this way just a hair. That looks pretty good. So let's go ahead and grab our nailer here. We'll nail this side of the frame in. Let's get that back in there. There we are. Back to where we started. Now, we got this thing nice and plumb. We're just going to put a couple nails in the side. Just to hold it for us. Now, you want to work on the reveal. Now the door manufacturer usually puts a couple little pieces of rubber in there to kind of help you with the spacing. But as you can see, we got a pretty nice clean reveal along this line. So I'm going to give it a little check for plumb. And it looks pretty good. Let's just go ahead and nail this up. Now I'm nailing over here into this little channel of the window molding. I feel like it hides better when you go to paint and finish. And you also get the thickest part of the molding and the stud behind the drywall. Now that we got that, let's go ahead and open the door. Check the swing. Swing looks pretty good. Now, don't really have to check the top, but this will be level, and it looks pretty level. So now, you want to move on to the inside jamb. So we're going to go ahead and move our camera so you can see the inside, and then we'll come back to you from the inside the bathroom, on the inside of this door. Now we've got our camera set up in here. It's a little tight, but this is just to show you how we get the frame inside this little slot here. Now if you look, this side is much thinner than the hole, so it gives you a lot of play. So let's go ahead and get these things lined up. And then it just slides in real easy. Grab our leveling gun. Looks pretty good. Nailing in the same way you did the other side. We'll check the inside of this one. Looks pretty good. And you always want to make sure that you got your jamb up there tight, because you don't want to be hammering on your trim, on your finished material to set a nail. We'll just go ahead and nail this side off real quick. While we do this, we'll join you on the other side in the next video. Now that we got the inside nailed off, let's go ahead and nail the outside off too. you just want to nail about every 12 to 16 inches. Don't overdo it, but if you see a little gap between the wall and the trim, just give it a little nail, and that should draw it up. A couple more. Now, we've got the door installed, swinging freely. And it will once we get these little pieces out of here. And all that's left is putting the handle on. Now, the outside kind of looks like garbage, but we'll show you how to fix this in another video. What we're going to do is we're just going to flat tape this old drywall and mud it up, and we'll fill in this gap with some more trim. But let's go ahead and move on to installing the door handle, and we'll get done with this video. Now we're going to show you how to install hall and closet lock on a bathroom door. These are also called interior doorknobs, but we got a freshly installed door. It's been pre-mortised on both holes and on the door jamb. And we're using a quick set lock here. Hall and closet quick set, says #1 selling brand. We'll put a link in the description. And first thing you want to do is make sure you got all the hardware. Strike plate, screws, locking mechanism, and the handles. First thing you want to do is get your 2 wood screws. Two short wood screws. See these 2? And then we'll install the locking mechanism. Which goes in this hole right here. And we got to let this thing fit. Sometimes you got to take your razor and mortise out for the lock set. But in this case, we're lucky. So we're just going to put these screws in here. Make sure you get them in the. Make sure you get the screws started in the center of the hole. The thing I like about this V-wall impact driver is it'll make a sound when it gets too tight, and you can start and let off. You don't get these things too tight. Now, you just need to take your handles. See this end? This is the male end. This is the female end. And this will fit in here just like this. And we'll do it inside the door. Now you want the screws on the inside of the door for the most privacy. It's just a good habit, even though this one don't have a lock. It's just something you want to start doing if you're getting into carpentry. And you gotta line this thing up just right, but it's not too difficult. Now grab your 2 long screws. These are also machine finish screws. Get your screwdriver, because you don't want to strip these out, or you'll be buying a new one. And then what I like to do, this is a little tip. So I pull this thing out of here a little bit, and I go ahead and look. Get mine started by hand. Sometimes these things can be a pain. But usually once you get one side, the other side's going to be in line. So go ahead and stick this one in. always get them started by hand as they're not strip them out. Now you can take your drill, but if you're just starting out, I would suggest using the screwdriver. It helps get you the ambiguity that you need to be a carpenter, in addition to protecting you from some expense. There's a lot of expense in learning carpentry because we all make mistakes. But we just screw a little bit, each side a little bit, draw it up on each side just a little bit at a time so you don't warp your hardware on the inside. And then always put your foot there. Use both hands. Probably saying, why didn't you do that in the first place? Well, you live and learn. Now, both sides of the handle works. Catches the hole on the inside. Now all we got to do is install the strike plate. Now if it hits the hole on the inside without it, 9 times out of 10, it'll hit it with the strike plate. Let's go ahead and install the strike plate. Just goes into this hole right here. You want this flared in on the outside. Same way you did the door. You want to get the screw in the center. And just tighten it up enough to hold it in place. Don't strip your screw heads or it gives it a unappealing look. There you go. Let's check it. And that's how you install a door handle on an interior door. Now, quick recap of the show. Today, we showed you how to install an interior door. We also showed you a special little hack on what to do if your door frame is a little bit larger than your rough opening. We also showed you how to cut the bottom of the door. We also showed you how to install a hall and closet door handle on an interior door. And we also showed you how to nail off the trim and a couple other little special hacks. Quick recap of the tools. You may not need all of these for your project, but on this one we had a little trouble, so we needed a few extra tools, like the chop saw and the circular saw. But normally you're just going to need an air compressor, nail gun, and a level to install an interior door, and then maybe a hammer and a nail set. But we hope you enjoyed the video. We hope this helped you out, and stay tuned for more videos, and be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.